Hi everybody. So let's look at how we can calculate standard deviations in MS Excel. In this example, as Christites, we are going to calculate standard deviation on some data about how much Christites like our cafe mangoes. This is done on a scale of 1 through 5, where 1 stands for hating mangoes, where 5 stands for being absolutely grateful for having mangoes in our campus. In our example, the mean is already calculated as 3. So now we are going to look at the standard deviation of the ratings. Standard deviation is a measure of deviation from the mean, which is basically analyzing how close the scores are or how far apart they are. That means bigger the standard deviation, the further apart the scores are. So in our sheet, we are going to label A17 as standard deviation and use the cell beside it for calculating the same. Our first step is selecting the cell, which is B17 for us. And on the formula bar, we type the usual format, which begins with an equal to sign, and type stdev.p. Now you enter the address of the range of cells, which is B6 to B15, and you ensure you don't include the mean for the same. And now you click on enter, and you have your standard deviation. Now, in case you don't want to remember the abbreviation to standard deviation, there is an easier way to go about the same. So now we go to the formula tab and click on more functions. A drop-down list would appear and select on the statistical option. Amongst the list, you scroll down until you find your standard deviation, which would be stdev.p. A dialog box would appear where you enter the address of your range of cells respectively again, B6 to B15, and again remembering not to include the mean for calculating the same. You click on OK and you get your standard deviation. As you can see now, we have a very unappealing number on the screen. Now to round it off, we go to the Home tab, and under the number, we click on number, which would round off our standard deviation. Now what does this number mean? This simply means that the standard deviation of 1.26 is a low standard deviation. This implies it is closer to the mean. It shows that the scores are mostly between the range of 2 to 4, and it makes sense as the mean is also 3 and the ranges are between 2 and 4. So as we said earlier, the bigger the standard deviation, the further apart they are. So in our case, the standard deviation is much closer to the mean. So that's how you do it, and that's how we calculate standard deviation on Excel. Thank you.